Good morning and welcome to the new weekly setups and outlook. Hope you're all doing well and having a wonderful weekend so far. This today we'll be looking at our pairs: pound yen, pound US dollar, euro dollar, and Aussie dollar. We'll do a quick overview, see from the high time frame top down analysis from the daily all the way down to the 1H and 4H, and we'll see what we could potentially expect going into this week. So we'll have a quick overview and yes, stay tuned. So first of all, I'm on the daily pound dollar. First of all, looking at where's our daily liquidity. We have this order block, we have imbalance in there, and then we also have this previous high that is being swept currently. We didn't close above it, but we did reach for it. So in my opinion, I do think we can go a bit higher and then sell off because we also have some liquidity then obviously down here, and we have imbalance in this area as well. If we don't reject this area and we start pushing up even higher, then that is the next area where I think liquidity will be. So that would be potentially then the next draw on liquidity for me. And obviously, I think we'll have to add the coffee marker there for ultimately if we don't respect this area. So obviously, I'm looking then for price to be still continue bullish for some time, but we can probably see a retracement early in the week, probably see price pull back a bit and then continue up higher. So there's different things that can happen on the daily, but definitely on the lower time frames, the situation might look a bit different. So if we look on the 4 hour, if we're expecting a pullback, this area down here, potentially this candle could be nice. Even though we have these wicks already in it, there's no imbalance left yet, but we have the strong structure break over there, and we do have some imbalance in this area over there as well. So could take this area and we can possibly refine it on the lower time frames. We can also place our tool from low towards the high, and we can see this area is in the discount, so that is important as well. So let's take this away. So now we've already gotten some areas on the 4 hour that could be our liquidity. On the 1 hour, this candle I do like a lot. I would rather refine it to this area because here we have a full body candle, meaning there's more body than wicks. We have our imbalance there as well. So this area does look more suitable for me personally. I would love to take a trade from this area. So potentially we have about 60 pips to get to that low. So obviously then shorts would be the name of the game early on, all the way down towards the downside. So then dropping to the 15 minute, you can quickly identify we have this area, full body candle, clean leg out, imbalance over there. We can see price is failing to make higher highs. We're making lower lows, lower highs in there, and we also breaking structure towards the downside. So this does look good as well for shorts. So early on in the week, I do think that is the idea. But we also know early in the week, Monday could be tricky. So I'll just note this high as well for potential sweep of that high and then a continuation down lower. But I do think shorts early on Monday, Tuesday, or especially Monday, some shorts. And then maybe Tuesday, Wednesday on, looking for longs again if we reach this area down below. Then looking for the longs. So my idea would be to take shorts early on in the week and then rest of the week longs again back towards the upside. So that's currently the plan for GU. Let's look at next one. EU on the daily is a bit more difficult to read. So first of all, I'm just marking out where is all my liquidity. We'll take the body close of this candle as the order block, possibly the wick as well, but I would like to see price go deeper into it. So I have that area over there. We have these previous highs as liquidity. So those are the main areas of liquidity I would believe, in my opinion, for how I trade. So potentially we can see a move down and then a continuation up, or we could see price first sweeping the highs and then going lower. So those are the two scenarios on the daily that I would be looking at. If you look at the 4 hour, this area on the 4 hour is more or less in the middle of 50% of this order block. It's not a full body candle, but it has more body than wicks, almost, might be wrong. But we can see that we had this order block and we almost came back to touch it. So maybe we could see price push up, pull back, we push up again, we pull back towards this area, and then continue down, up higher. So currently we still have this accumulation area in here. So potentially price will then possibly have a quick push out, fake out, and then a continuation back up higher. Maybe leave behind a big wick or something of the sorts. On the 1 hour, it's not as clean and clear as I said before. EU has not been good the past few weeks. We can see that price didn't reach or didn't tap this nice full body candle, but it did reach for the imbalance that we had in here. So some of the imbalance has been mitigated in here. So I do think that chances are that price could come lower and fill this imbalance. So I will just keep this on here to know that there is a possibility the price could go all the way down towards this area. So let's just keep this in mind, keep it on your charts for future reference, knowing that that is an area, if price does decide to go all the way down, that it could reach there. So this, we can just call it and we can just say it's the 4H order block, just so that we know this level. Potentially we do see that price is finding support in here if we look at support and resistance concepts, and we know that that is all often manipulated, and we can then expect price to push through it and then carry on towards the upside. But as you can see, it's more difficult to read EU because of this accumulation and there's just consolidation here. So personally, I do think that I would wait for price to reach a higher probability area somewhere in here and then to take a trade, because otherwise you can probably take a lot of things on the 1 minute, definitely, but for my trading plan I would prefer waiting for price to give me a better, higher probability opportunity to reach higher probability zones and areas. So definitely throughout the week I will apply some of my other concepts and techniques that I use, but until then just be being patient. So I know where is the highest probability areas to buy from. For me personally, it's in this zone. So potentially when price reaches these areas, I would be looking for buys with other confluences as well. So if price gives us confirmations for sells, then absolutely. But currently, I'm not seeing any upper hand in order flow, either bullish or bearish. So it's still quite indecisive, in my opinion. So personally, I do think we can first go lower and then go higher, if that makes sense. If we just look at where did we react off of, so we did react off of this area on the high time frame. So I do expect the price could make a pullback before continuation up higher. So that is more or less the idea that I have currently. It could change in a moment because we know price is always changing, so we need to be reactive and not too predicting. Okay, let's jump to the next one. Okay, we have Aussie dollar here on the daily. So let's just quickly mark out the most important areas. Obviously, have this high, that's an important high, and this low is too far away, so I'm not gonna look at that low. But we could potentially we can just plot down this candle, this area, this zone, as an order block, but we need to know that we have at least that high above it as well. So if price is really bullish, we can first see the sweep of the high, sweep the liquidity, and then continue lower. So we can't just sell in this area just because it's in that area, even though we have a wick on the daily. So it ended rather bearish, indecisive, but we could fill this wick again. So we'll need to see the lower time frames for more confirmation. Everything, there's nothing really, no order blocks, no real imbalance or liquidity in this area, except that all of this now is liquidity, in my opinion. So if we do continue down lower, this area would be the target for me because that is the last low. After we see all this pushes towards the upside, trend line liquidity. So if price does go down, that would be the higher time frame target for the next few weeks, I would think. potentially, if we decide to turn bearish. So let's have a look at the 4 hour, just what we're seeing currently here. Seeing this rejection, what's nice about this, what I already like on the 4 hour, let's zoom in, and this is some good information. We have a sweep of that high followed by a structure break. There's the structure break. So this whole formation does tell me that we could potentially be looking for sells and not necessarily go any higher than what we already are. If we look at the 1 hour, we see there's our fake out, our sweep. This is our structure break. But again, on the 1 hour, we're not seeing anything clear, as in full body candles, clean legs out, and imbalance left behind, strong structure breaks. We have this push down, break structure, we pull back. So let's look on the 15 minute. Potentially, okay, so this makes a bit more sense. There is our order block. So that's where the trade happened from. And then we just started consolidating. So I do think we can go lower, definitely. But currently, the bigger picture is still just moving sideways, consolidating. So we need to see a bit more direction. So what I would think possibly could happen is we might create a new order block. We might see price push down, break these structures over here, then give us a pullback, break structure again, pull back towards an order block, and then the continuation. So for this one, I do think we'll need some more confirmations to take a short. But I do think shorts early on in the week, and then we'll have to see throughout the week if our bias changes and what happens next. So lastly, let's have a look at pound yen. So on pound yen, I've been calling the level down here for buys for some time, especially for the community. We've spoken about that low over there, and I'll show you quickly now why that low was important. But on the daily, we've swept the weekly, daily highs, probably monthly highs there as well. We're above it, we closed above it. Theoretically, we could see price pull back and then continue down lower. Not necessarily all the way down, but essentially we could expect a pullback at some point. But currently we have a lot of momentum, so we'll maybe have to look at the weekly to give us a cleaner identification of where price could stop. So price is currently trading in this range again. So it's difficult on the weekly, but we have this area. Even though we wicked up into this area already, we'll just keep it out. Just put it out, stretch it out. We're close to that area, so I would not be surprised if we see a final push to inside this area as well. But obviously, we'll need to create the wick for the new weekly candle, so that's why I think we can push down. We could potentially push down, create the wick, and then push up, create the body. If we were to be more bullish still, but we can't yet say that for certain. So let's have a look at the 4 hour. So what I would always say is we are bullish until proven otherwise, following the trend. So we have this area that I do think is significant, and we have the imbalance left there as well. So in my opinion, I would be looking for shorts at least until this area, and then reevaluate and see if we can take a long further. But I do think we have a high probability for price to reach this area first before going up higher. If we then look at the 1 hour, 1 hour doesn't tell us too much except that we have this candle. It's not a full body candle, but we have the imbalance there, which is nice. So ideally, I would want to see price move around, create some liquidity, reach that liquidity, tap into the order block, and then move down. Break the structure, create a new order block, pull back towards that area, and then see price continue towards the downside. That is theoretically the plan, but obviously we know price doesn't always play out as we expect it to play out. If we look at the 15 minutes, definitely refine it towards that candle, move the imbalance up there. Actually, this does look really good, and I do think this looks actually better than all the other pairs that we have looked at already. We see price swept that highs, so that's very good. So we did mitigate the liquidity above it. So I do think this area does look very good for sales for me. Actually, very good. This pair, GJ and GU, they are looking the cleanest for me. Actually, GJ does look the best currently. Straight back all the way down into this range that we created over here. So that is it from my side, guys. I hope you enjoyed this weekly analysis. Do think it's packed full of knowledge and some interesting things. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, want some more, what you if you want to see maybe some other pairs, but those are the pairs that I mainly focus on. We'll be doing a backtesting video on a few pairs. First up will be the Nasdaq, some indices to see does smart money concepts work with Nasdaq indices. Big question, and I'm gonna find maybe it does, but I'm gonna find out for myself with my backtesting. So I'll be recording that as well. Sorry, I've been meaning to do the recording backtesting sessions, but life has been busy. Haven't gotten to it at all. So still a lot of things coming up. So thank you for being patient and thank you for following this journey and following the content. Hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. See you all on Tuesday for the YouTube members and Monday for the community members. Have a lovely Sunday. Goodbye.